What is up, Fish Nation? It is the Lando Show. Finally getting back to you with what I've had on my mind for a couple days now. I had a pinched nerve in my neck that's been pretty debilitating for the last couple days or so, so I haven't really been able to do everything that I wanted to do. And then I've had what I'm talking to you about now pre-recorded on my laptop from my studio and had those files corrupted somehow. I was having all kinds of trouble getting that file to export. So I'm doing it the old-fashioned way, Mike Fisher style, from my vehicle right now, trying to multitask. So here we go. First item of importance, Dak Prescott looking like he will be playing, trending in that direction anyways. He all but said that, and just a few minutes ago when he was asked that same question, if you pay attention to the line, from Vegas, the line is trending in the right direction. More of a gap between the Cowboys and the Broncos would tend to favor the idea of Dak Prescott playing. In other news, La'el Collins is also looking like he won't be playing. So he's got the high ankle sprain and the bone spur going on in that ankle, which is obviously concerning. I would imagine that it's going to be more of a rest deal for him in order to get that healed. The fact that it has lingered even post bye week is, something to be concerned about as a Cowboys fan. On the positive side, though, you do have plenty of depth in that regard. You've seen Connor McGovern fill in for Zach Martin and Cowboys not skip a beat. You've seen Terrence Steele fill in for La'el Collins, Cowboys not skip a beat. So you would think that La'el Collins, with a full week of preparation to maybe just rep the left side of that line somewhere and fill in for Tyron Smith, you'd feel pretty good about that if you're the Dallas Cowboys. But beyond that, injury news, looking back towards what happened Sunday night, obviously Halloween night, no Dak Prescott. Both of your tackles are pretty much out for the entirety of the game. Tyron Smith had like 31 snaps. You got a backup quarterback in, really no sign of a run game. Cooper Rush did what he had to do, made a couple incredible throws, and kind of was just having to do things on his own, through the air. He wasn't great. It looks like there's some arm strength issues that he's has to overcome to be successful. But he made it work, and it was fun to see the Cowboys overcome just all the shortcomings that continue to sort of plague this team. But they are battle tested, and they do continue to adapt and just really not skip any sort of beat. I thought it was awesome to see. Michael Irvin touched on this on 105 through the Fan. Basically, I think I speak for everybody watching this video, myself included. This team just feels different. There's something about it that feels different. If you're an athlete and you're watching this video right now, you can clearly probably see that, and you can certainly feel it when you're watching the game. And also, if you pay attention to, the sounds from the sideline, the way these guys celebrate and cheer for each other, it's all real. It's like a perfect symphony of success right now, and it's been incredible to watch. Example number one of why this team feels different, again, odds stacked against them, all that stuff put aside. If you just fast forward to the very end of the game when after Mike Zimmer was, he called his second timeout in a row, which the officials aren't technically supposed to grant. They did anyway, so they, that caused a penalty there for the Vikings. That was interesting. Maybe the Cowboys dodged a bullet there, and instead of having 3rd and 16, they go 3rd and 11. Anyway, Zeke catches the ball, right? And he's got, he's 3 to 4 yards or so beyond the line of scrimmage towards the flat. Zeke catches the ball, and he knew that he could change the outcome of the game and the process moving forward if he were to get to that first down marker. And he just willed himself to do that. It was just pure will, pure determination, an amazing play, an amazing display of effort. And it's that type of effort that's just one of many examples that we've seen that makes this Cowboys team different. A little statistical nuance for you here. I looked this up just a few minutes ago, actually, before recording. NFL offenses in 2021 are scoring on average of 27% of their drives, roughly. That's a rough estimate, and that's touchdowns, by the way. So that number nearly doubles to over 50% if there is either a play or a penalty in that drive of 15 yards or more. And so again, this is all kind of tying back into why this team just feels different to me. The Cowboys, towards the very end of the drive, you all know, you can all recollect what I'm speaking to here. They had 3 15-yard penalties in the same drive. 2 on Randy Gregory, 1 on Terrell Basham for the roughing the passer. The Vikings didn't score a touchdown. They held them to 3 points. So it's, again, the effort, the consistent nature in which it seems like no matter who's playing and lining up, particularly in the front 4 and just rushing the passer, there's so much energy on every single snap. And I think Randy Gregory has a significant part of that. I can't stop watching that dude. When he's on the field, I'm keying in on Randy Gregory. I think he's got a legitimate shot to, I don't know, I don't want to start making these bold predictions, but I think he's been the best player on this Cowboys defense consistently, week in, week out. He hasn't necessarily, you guys get the point. Randy Gregory is actually his pressure rate, which is a stat that I pay closer attention to when evaluating just defensive ends and, pass rushers in today's NFL. It's not, sacks don't usually translate. Those can kind of be hit or miss as far as, the consistency in which they come. They can come and go in spurts. But he's actually affecting the passer, getting to the passer, his pressure rate at the 4th highest clip of anybody in the entire NFL. And I think that's behind, number 1 is obviously Myles Garrett with 10+ sacks. Number 2 is Max Crosby's number 3. I forget who number 2 is. I think it was actually Matthew Judon from the Pats. So it's Judon, it's Max Crosby, and it's Myles Garrett. So Randy Gregory's performance speaks for himself, but just the way that he's playing with the consistent pursuit, he's creating all kinds of havoc. So that was just awesome to see. Again, Cooper Rush, man. Going into that game, actually, the Vikings front 4 was as a group, they were leading the NFL in pressure rate. So again, just for Cooper Rush to do what he did and to just remain poised, all that stuff, I think, is sort of leads back to what I'm ultimately going to get to, and I'm going to try and wrap this video up and keep it under 10 minutes here. Mike McCarthy does certainly deserve a lot of credit. He hasn't gotten enough, in my opinion. Dak Prescott showing the vulnerability. We have a tendency as fans to sort of dehumanize players a lot because we see these larger than life figures on TV every Sunday, but we fail to recognize them as people, as human beings, right? Dak Prescott, everything that he's been through, maybe the 3 or 4 single most difficult events to overcome that he'll ever have to overcome in his entire life are already in his rear view. And so he's not only been outspoken about struggling with his own share of mental health issues, but also just physically as well with the injury last year. Dak has had no choice but to overcome those things by not developing physically, but everything between the ears. I keep hitting on that, and just the psychology of sport I'm so big on. Dak Prescott, I think it's entirely likely that he's operating at a level now that very, very few NFL players, but quarterbacks in particular, ever have a chance to get to. And it's because of the way that he's been battle tested and had to overcome things that are much more difficult than just going out there and playing a game. Ultimately, that's what this is, right? And so I think the rest of the team is sort of embodying that same type of not only mental fortitude, but just the approach to the day-to-day aspects of football. And they're genuinely enjoying the game and playing for not only with effort for themselves, but doing it as a whole, as a unit, and for each other. And so it's just really, it really is beautiful to watch. I know there's a couple things that I'm probably missing and forgetting to hit on, but that's where it stands as of today. I do think it was also cool. Micah Parsons, by the way, showed up to the team facility at the same time that Dan Quinn did, and Dan Quinn spoke about this. He was basically like almost surprised, not really shocked, but kind of just taken aback a little bit by Micah Parsons showing up at 6 a.m. way earlier than he needed to. And he asked him, he's like, Micah, it's early, man. What are you doing here? And Micah basically just told him, he said, there's work to be done. And so that was cool. And then, they followed that up with, we find out after the game on Sunday that Jaron Kearse wore the mic in his helmet, the green dot. It was on Jaron Kearse's helmet when every game prior to that, it was Micah Parsons sort of had those delegated responsibilities to relay the calls from Dan Quinn and from the the defensive side of things, and getting everybody in sync and then the defensive huddle. So for him to the wherewithal, first of all, for Dan Quinn to remove some of the responsibility that he's thrown so much already at Micah Parsons, but just to let him worry about one less thing and then just go be an athlete. And most of you all probably already saw that play where Micah Parsons basically diagnosed, broke, and stopped Dalvin Cook all before Leighton Vander Esch really even had a chance to figure out what the heck was going on. He was basically playing both linebacker positions. He's just that advanced of an athlete and that advanced of a playmaker. And so he was able to go and do that. So just to have Micah Parsons and Randy Gregory I've already spoken about, and then obviously what we know of what Trayvon Diggs has done, leading the league in interceptions right now. Through 6 weeks, he had as many interceptions as Stephon Gilmore did from the 2019 season when he led the entire NFL. So that just goes to show you the type of season that he's had so far. The Cowboys have one player on every position of their defense that could genuinely make a case for Defensive Player of the Year candidate. It's just, it's crazy to me. So Dan Quinn deserves all the respect and credit, and so does Kellen Moore. You know, we saw the Hulk package featuring Lyle Collins and Connor McGovern. No better way to get your backup quarterback feeling comfortable and confident than playing behind not just 5 quality offensive linemen, but 7. And then you got Zeke back there in the backfield too. All kinds of different nuances. We're seeing different things unveiled from Kellen Moore, getting creative every single week. You know, we're seeing wide receiver passes. We're seeing wildcat stuff with Zeke and Tony Pollard in the 22 personnel package in the backfield at the same time. Multiple tight end sets, all kinds of crazy stuff, man. So one other thing I think is important to note, the Cowboys will be wearing their red, white, and blue striped helmets again on Sunday. If a lot of you guys actually have probably been Cowboys fans a lot longer than I've been alive and might remember back to 1976, which was the 200th birthday of the United States of America, America's 200th birthday, right? They wore those in honor of the bicentennial. So they're bringing those back this year, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's for the Medal of Honor recipients. So just showing a little bit of respect to our colors, our nation's colors, and to those who have fought for us, for our country, for our freedom in the past. I really like that. I think it's cool that even an organization like the Cowboys with so much history and tradition can still kind of go against the grain a little bit and just kind of change things up. So excited to see that happen. Looks like Sean McEwen will be activated from the IR, Cowboys tight end, along with Jeremy Sprinkle and Dalton Schultz. Those will be your 3 tight ends that are active on Sunday. Looks like Blake Jarwin is probably not going to be active and will miss, so something to keep an eye on there. Everybody else, I saw the report the Cowboys' top 3 wide receivers today were all kind of working separate from the rest of the team. Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, and CeeDee Lamb all included in that. Just probably some maintenance stuff. Would imagine CeeDee to definitely play. Amari, I'm not so sure on. And then with Michael Gallup, all things sort of point to him playing this week. Mike McCarthy referenced that he wants to see how he progresses with a full, clean week of practice, and he was pretty much close to that point last week, and this week he seems to be on track to doing so. So we'll see. But the 6-1 Dallas Cowboys taking on the Von Miller-less Denver Broncos. Interesting, that they don't have to worry about them. I'm certainly glad. I know Mike McCarthy is as well. We will see down the road. It looks like they've got 3 Hall of Famers now on the defensive side of the football for the Rams, who obviously are one of the Cowboys' number 1 NFC contending rivals. So something to watch for there. But I'm glad the Cowboys chose, obviously, not to be sellers. When you're contending for a Super Bowl, you need that bye week, and you need all the depth that you can possibly get. And keeping Lyle Collins around, keeping Michael Gallup around. I know there's a lot of fans that were maybe hoping to see one of those 2 guys traded. I personally was not one of those, especially when you got to worry about blocking a guy like Aaron Donald and Von Miller now. Probably going to have to beat the Rams at some point to get to the Super Bowl. It's a good thing to keep all that continuity for all the reasons that we have just went over. But, just having that depth, it's a luxury. So 6-1 Dallas Cowboys taking on the Denver Broncos. Excited to watch this game. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Appreciate you tuning in, and I will talk to you soon. Also, one last thing, just reminded, sorry, I'm scatterbrained here. The Lando show, if you want to head over to my channel, I'm going to be doing a lot more breakdowns, film stuff from the All 22 coaches film. If you're interested in seeing some of that, just, head over to the channel and check it out. Looking forward to it. See you guys later.